Hello and welcome back to Pennies and Salt. I'm Megan, a homeschooling mom of 6, and today I'm just going to share with you a few resources that I like to add in to our homeschool in addition to our regular core curriculum. Okay, so the first thing that I love adding to our homeschool are these wrap-ups. So these are just excellent for independent practice. What's really cool about them is that like they would go 4 times 1 equals 4. Then they would say 2 times 1 equals 2. And so you get the idea. So times 12 equals, there it is, 12. Okay, so by the time they get to the end, they put it down through here. And then they can flip it over on the back and make sure that they have followed the correct paths. So it shows if their answers are correct. So they can even check themselves with it. So this is something that I really like just to hand to my oldest, just for extra practice. If I need to work with one of the other kids and he's waiting on me, I can just go ahead and pass it off to him to work on this, and he's not just sitting there waiting and losing important time. So he can still get some practice in. They make these for addition, subtraction, and division. And so this is just an excellent little addition to our homeschool. As far as math goes, another resource that we are really loving is the musical multiplication from The Good and the Beautiful. Now, when you download this, the songs are actually just MP3s that I have downloaded on my computer. And so we listen to them that way. As far as I know, unless they've added one at this point, there is no CD that will come in the mail or anything. It's just something that you have to download onto a device. So all it is they are set to songs, and there's also the pictures. And they sing it 3 times through, except the 3rd time they don't put the answer in. Your child sings the answer themselves. So this one is just 3 times 3 is 9, 9 monkeys on a vine, like that. Anyway, it helps them to remember it better. And so this has just been a great little resource right here. Now, one thing I want to point out is it does not go by groups of, like it's not all of your 3 times tables. It's mixed. So they are learning them all kind of mixed up at the same time. So this is set A, and it has 4 sets total. And so this is something that we've just enjoyed. In the back, you cut these apart, and there's little flashcards so they can drill themselves. And so this is just another great little independent practice. And sometimes we play this while we are all working on different things. And even my preschooler can sing a lot of the facts. So, musical multiplication. The next thing is I absolutely love these DK workbooks for geography. Geography is something that we do touch on this in our history because we're using Story of the World, and it has lots of mapping and things like that. However, this is just a really great, so one thing, his for some reason didn't come with stickers. Asher's did. His is for 2nd grade, but it's supposed to come with stickers in it. I'm not really sure why this one didn't. But each page, you know, they're working on something different. So they're working on all these map skills and physical features, all that different stuff. And it is by grade level. So skills that they should know at each grade level. So just as an example, you know, first it goes over what is geography. And so all that's in there. And then, you know, natural features versus something built by humans, mapping, using a compass, and all that kind of stuff. And so this is just a really, really great little supplement. We use this as morning independent work. Again, when I have those times when I need to work with my other children, and they can just work independently in these. And I do go over it with them just like real quick, you know. But for the most part, you just pretty much just have to read this, and then they can follow the directions. And it's just really straightforward and really easy. And so, yeah. And I think this was, I want to say around $6. So it's a really great resource. I almost got the Evan Moore ones, but I looked at this one and I actually really liked this one better. And my kids really enjoy doing these. They think they're really fun. So the next thing is, this is just a really great little cursive handwriting workbook. So one of the things that I liked about this is that it uses kind of the concept of dot to dot, so that they are making sure that they are learning the strokes in the correct order. So instead of just handing them a workbook that just has it like this, because if a child is learning cursive independently, which my oldest, he wanted to learn, and in his curriculum and everything this year, I just don't really have the time to sit down and teach him cursive, and so he's really good about learning things independently, and this has been a great book for that, just because it has, you know, it teaches them the order of the strokes. Whereas some of the other ones I looked at, again, they didn't give the order of the strokes, or they just gave you the starting stroke, so it would be like an upstroke, but it wouldn't tell you, you know, what order to do the rest of the strokes. So this has been just a really great way for him to begin learning independently, and it's just really straightforward. So they learn all of the letters first, and then they go into connecting them. And again, I think this was less than $10 maybe on Amazon. So this is a great little resource. The other thing, I first fell in love with this supplement when my oldest was in kindergarten. So Explode the Code is just, again, the focus is phonics mastery. I use this in addition to the reading program that we already use. Okay, so this is the reason I like this is the way that it's set up. Every single lesson, okay, so hang on. And they do have a series called Get Ready for the Code as well, and that is, of course, for pre-readers when they're learning their letter sounds and stuff, so it's great for preschool especially. But so they're doing short A, you know, every lesson starts out this way. Find the picture that begins with the beginning, or with the sound. Okay, so they circle that. Then, and I didn't make him do this because he doesn't need to practice writing his letters. Then they find the same word, and they do the directions so that the kids are encouraged to learn to read their own directions using simple words. So, of course, they have the circle instead of the word circle because it's special sounds, and they're going to be more familiar with these words. So then the next thing that they're going to do is they're going to read the word, copy the word, and then circle the picture of the word. And then they are going to see the picture, spell the word, and then write it. And like I said, they do it this order every single lesson. Match and write it. So they find it up here and write it. And then circle the word. And all it is it's just drilling this for them. But it's not in a way like, I have 3 kids that use this or have used this at some point. And they don't get tired of it. They actually really like it because it makes them feel like they're accomplishing a lot because they're used to what's coming. So, like the structure of it. So, put an X on the correct sentences. They always think these sentences are really funny. And then they have like a little spelling page. So, and that's before it moves on to the next lesson. So this is just a great resource. That's the first book, but it does have up to 8 different levels. And you can very easily get through 2 levels each school year by doing a few pages a day, just as extra practice. And like I said, we really like this just to drive home the extra practice. Okay, the next thing is, I love these. The Draw Right Now series. I just grabbed a couple of the books just to show you the difference. They do have another series by the same company. I think it's called Draw and Write Through History or something like that. I'm probably way off. I'll pop up the correct name of it here in a second or at some point while I'm talking about it. But anyway, so this is just a great addition to, you can use these in so many ways. Obviously a toddler got a hold of this, but this one, it uses history. So what they're doing is they are learning about different things in history. So the first one is they're learning about Christopher Columbus. And so this is a great time to, if you're doing a unit on Christopher Columbus or the discovery of America, whatever, you could tie this in very easily. And so we do this as copy work. So we would read a book, or last year, for example, we read a book about Christopher Columbus. Then we did one of these, I think every other day is what I ended up doing with this last year. But so anyway, so they did this as copy work just to practice their writing, but also, you know, it drives home the different words, you know, spelling and all that kind of stuff. And then it gives a step-by-step of how to draw. And I did this with them, and they actually did amazingly well. So the only thing it teaches them to draw is the main part of the picture that they want you to focus on, which is, of course, Christopher Columbus. Then they would draw the rest of the background. So we get the primary journaling notebooks, and we use that for this because it has space to draw, and then it has the correct handwriting lines. So there's another one. Let's see. Okay, so then it has Autumn Harvest. And it teaches about like different animals. Owls are awake at night. They sit in trees. Owls watch for food. They see well in the dark. So see, you can tie in science and everything. So you could get a book about owls and read about owls. So there's just so many great uses for this. We have one that is on American history specifically. And then also here's this one, and it is all about animals and their habitats, which is really fun. Let's see. So my kids love to draw. They have grown. A couple of them were not huge drawing fans, and still until we started doing things like this, and then the Art Hub for Kids thing on YouTube Kids. And now that's pretty much all they do. They just sit around and draw constantly. So this is just a great addition to your homeschool. And like I said, they do make an older version. It uses cursive writing. So yeah, great series. So the last thing is, and we don't use this the way I think it's supposed to be used technically. We use this again for like morning kind of work. We don't use it every single day. We do it pretty much every other day. But this is Wordly Wise. So, okay, hold on. Okay, so for example, lesson 5, you have a word list. And so what I do is I go over it, and my oldest is the one that uses this. They go over the words, and I go over it with them. We talk about that it's verb, an adjective, or can be used as a noun, different things like that. So we go over it. Then he reads through it by himself. Then independently, I have him complete one of these. So it's basically, it's just to learn to use vocabulary. So, and it does it by, we use these as like one lesson a day. But like I said, we don't do it every single day. It's more like every other day. But this is just kind of a great way to drive home the meaning and uses of vocabulary. So I just really like this. I think it's great for comprehension as well because they're reading a passage and they are answering questions there. And you don't even have to, we have done this where I didn't even require him to answer it in a sentence. We just talked about it. So I asked him these questions and he's answered me before. But it's just really versatile and I really like it. I think it has really good vocabulary for the age levels. We did start with book 3 instead of book 4, even though he's in 4th grade, because he had never used a formal vocabulary before. I mean, we read a lot and things like that. We do a lot of read alouds, but I just really wanted him to get a good academic vocabulary underneath his belt, so to speak. And so this has been really great for that. And I also have it at the 1st grade level for my 2nd grader, because again, I wanted to start a level down from what they are technically supposed to be in, I guess, because they hadn't had this specific vocabulary instruction. So that was just another resource that I really enjoy. So all of these resources, there are others that we use as well. These are just the ones I chose to share today. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below and share what are your favorite resources to use in your homeschool. Thanks so much for watching. Please push that subscribe button down below because I would love to have you on future videos.